We come together for a moment out of time in a place made holy by our presence, to celebrate what is deepest and most true, to honor the beauty of our own heart's longing, to cultivate wonder, imagination, and the courage.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope
Clouds are swift, rocks are ancient, mountains are high, oceans gray, winds are restless, trees are patient. You, my child, are away. Waves are crashing, rivers churning, planets twirling, stars ablaze. Storms are raging, atoms whirling. You, my child, are away. To perceive these wondrous things, to count the beats of a blackbird's wings, to tell a story and dance and say. All the splendors of creation, very happy that you came, 'cause they needed someone to see them. You, my child, are away. To perceive these wondrous things, to count the beats of a blackbird's wings, to tell a story and dance and say. Seeds are hopeful, dewdrops fleeting, oak trees crooked, redwoods straight, and they are not known to the sleeping. But you, my child, are away. You, my child, are awake. You, my child. Revisa tu corazón para hallar el amor en un rincón, pero busca el amor, ni placer ni pasión, el amor, lo que hace al otro bien. Busca el amor en ti, se multiplica si lo repartís. Busca el amor en ti, solo el que ama puede ser feliz. Busca el amor en ti, se multiplica si lo repartís. Busca el amor en ti, solo el que ama puede ser feliz. Busca el amor en ti, en ti. Registra tu cambio cuando cambia el calor del corazón. corazón y te estalla la flor, un pétalo del sol, el amor. Lo que hace al otro bien. Busca el amor en ti, se multiplica si lo repartís. Busca el amor en ti, solo el que ama puede ser feliz. Busca el amor en ti, se multiplica si lo repartís. Busca el amor en ti, solo el que ama puede ser feliz. Busca el amor en ti, en ti. Busca el amor en ti, se multiplica si lo repartís. Busca el amor en ti, solo el que ama puede ser feliz. Busca el amor.
We come together for a moment out of time in a place made holy by our presence, to celebrate what is deepest and most true, to honor the beauty of our own heart's longing, to cultivate wonder, imagination, and the courage to act, and to care for one another. Please light your chalice. Our common chalice is now lit.
Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of disbelieving. Ours is no yet again of despair. Come yet again, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of disbelieving. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan, whoever is leaving. Ours is no caravan, whoever is leaving. Ours is no caravan, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here from all over. I love that about this gathered community, that it is gathered literally from all over the world. And this month of February, we're exploring the theme of Earth, and that just brings it home to me. Here in Minnesota, where I live in the north, it's cold in February and kind of dreary, and we're all getting a little bit of cabin fever. We're all sick of each other. And we really know in Minnesota that it's truly April before we can even begin to count on spring to be here. And really May before we can count on not having frost at least. But, you know, in February, we're all just, it's kind of, the snow isn't white anymore, it's kind of gray, and we're just kind of a little bit grumpy from being inside more than we like, and the days are longer than they were, but still the nights are very long, and everyone's just getting a little bit edgy in February. And I'm really aware as I speak to this group that there are people
for whom February means the flowers are starting to bloom again after a very short winter. Or for some of you, it's the middle of summer there. Or for some of you, you're in temperate climates and it's never winter the way it is here. And I was just in California in the Bay Area a few weeks ago, and it's so startling to leave your home climate and fly to a different one. And I got off and things were green and there were smells and I could go smell flowers, and I took a million pictures of things just because there's purple and orange and red and bright green and just colors that here in Minnesota, it's gray and white snow and blue sky, but brown and gray trees. And, it's just so different. And I feel like that's kind of what it's like to be human, that even when we're all in the same place, often the people around us are in really different mind states. We might be having the best day of our life while a friend of ours is grieving a huge loss. And that also, though we affect each other, we're having these independent and interdependent experiences all the time. So welcome to this community, each of us grounded on the earth, but the community grounded all over the earth, and still meaningful connections as we reflect together on this theme of earth. Earth, our common home, earth, our beloved planet Earth, the precious, the vulnerable, the beautiful, and the broken. And so come, let us worship together.
Let us now pause for a moment of deepening together as a community. For we each carry within us joys that are too great for one heart to hold, sorrows that are too much for one heart to endure, local and world events which call upon us to bear witness. Let us begin by recalling the joys, whatever you may be celebrating or whatever evokes a feeling of happiness or peace for you or for others. Now let us recall our concerns and sorrows, whatever you or the world may be holding that is in need of our healing and caring thoughts. In the heart of love and in the spirit of prayer, we give thanks for this time together, where joys can be magnified and sorrows can be lessened. Blessed be.
I invite you now to a time of prayer, to a time of reflection, to a time when you give your full attention to your own heart and your own soul, a time to turn inward with love and with gratitude. If you're holding on to something, I invite you to put it down. If you have tabs open, I invite you to close them and give yourself the full gift of attention. I invite you into your own heart, into that temple inside yourself, into that place of spaciousness and grandeur from which you see the world and all around you, from which you know your connection to all others. Each week we say the words, "May we be held in the heart of love," and I invite each of us now to hold ourselves in the heart of our own love. And as we do so, to become aware that we're doing this with others and that the heart of love that we share is much bigger than any we can hold alone. This week, I invite you to hold in the spaciousness of that heart all of the people who suffer from trauma, from hunger, from war, from violence, from grief, from loneliness, from addiction, from imprisonment in so many sources of oppression and pain and suffering. Invite them all in, knowing that there is plenty of room, knowing that you do not personally have to struggle to hold them, but allow the beating heart of the universe simply to witness and be present and hold all. And I invite you to welcome in all of the joy of the universe, all of the beauty, all of the relationships which bring more love and connection to the new life, new learning, all of the wonder and imagination that every child carries inside and that adults too can hold on to. I invite you to hold all of the beauty that is created by artists and musicians every day, and the love that is evident in the smallest touch of parent, sibling, friend, lover, child, all of the ways that we love each other, even the way that we can love total strangers, people we don't even know. I invite you to welcome them as well into the spaciousness of your heart. Allow it to expand, to become as big as it needs to be. Look out over the oceans and see that your heart's horizon can be as big as the ocean, as big as a starry sky, and welcome it all in. What a gift that we are so profoundly connected to one another. What a gift that we can hold it all, understanding that we can't fix things or we can't solve other people's problems. Often we can't even solve our own, but we can witness, we can be present, we can simply hold what is with love and with gratitude for all of it. May we all be held in the heart of love. May we all be held, each and every one of us, no matter who we are, no matter what we've done or not done. May we know that we too are held in the heart of love. So be it.
What do you do when you receive a gift? I hope that one of the things we all do is say thank you in some way. That thank you could be to say those very words, thank you, or a hug, or a card, or perhaps even a gift in return. But the point is, we have ways of showing gratitude for the gifts we receive from other people. What about the gifts we receive from the earth itself? As we begin this new month, our topic is Earth. And that's a pretty big topic. This week, I am thinking about what we can learn from the Earth about abundance. Our home planet offers us so much. Everything we have ever needed or wanted, we have made from what we have found here. There are many lessons we can learn from the overwhelming abundance of the Earth. One is that the Earth will keep on giving. That there is always going to be more, so we can take as much as we want, like a buffet that never stops getting refilled. Another lesson is that we human beings are the sole inheritors of all that the earth has to offer. We are the ones that the earth belongs to. This planet is our Eden, created for us to dwell within, to accept as our gift. Or perhaps the lesson is that we can use our intellect to make the earth give us enough to support our growing population. If we are clever, we can get the earth to provide us enough meat, crops, minerals, and drinking water to keep our modern way of life going in perpetuity. Robin Wall Kimmerer offers us different lessons to learn from the earth in her book Braiding Sweetgrass. I particularly like the juxtaposition between the indigenous creation story of Sky Woman and the biblical one of Eve. In Sky Woman's story, she arrives on the earth and plants all that we have, tends to these gifts she has brought with her from above to cultivate a garden that we humans can help grow. In Eve's story, we start in the garden itself, already made for us, and then we are booted for misdeeds and forced to labor the rest of our days. In the first story, our exemplar is a gardener preparing the way for future generations. In the second story, our lot is to be a refugee on this planet, doing what we must to survive until we return home. I think many of the lessons we have learned are the wrong lessons. They grow out of the second story of being exiled. We act as though the earth is a buffet that is always overflowing. We sometimes forget about all the people and lives who keep it filled. We see the earth as something created for us. All we need to do is pick up what is on offer, whether the offerer is God or luck. We don't spend a lot of time wondering at our good fortune before accepting. And we think we are smart enough to trick the earth. If the buffet closes or our luck runs out, we can invent our way out of the mess and not have to sacrifice our way of life. Too many of the ways we act are in line with these lessons. I hope, though, that we can listen more deeply to what the earth is trying to teach us with the gift of abundance. The mistake we make is one of perspective. For many of us, our stories begin in the garden, and we forget the gardener. That is the wisdom I hear in the story of Sky Woman. She didn't land on the earth in the midst of bounty. She had to grow it and tend it before the harvest came. In that way, we can reimagine the lessons we have been taught. Our intellect still plays a role in helping things grow. We need to be smart to learn how to be in balance with the natural world. And we have learned quite a bit about how to create what we need. The lesson, perhaps, is that we may be smart enough to find a different way of life to support with our cleverness. The idea that all the earth offers is a present is not necessarily a bad one either. The piece we need to reframe is that the card on the package may not just have our name on it. The gift is not solely for we humans, but for all of life. And I believe we need to practice more often the other part of being gifted something, saying thank you. And that buffet can tempt us to take too much. I've been there. I have thought to myself, well, I already paid for the meal, so I want to get my money's worth. What I see here is again a need to expand our perspective beyond the plate in our hands and the buffet before us. We need to think about being the waitstaff that refill the buffet and the kitchen staff that prepare the food, and those in the fields that help us grow and raise all that life that will become food. I challenge us to think about being the earth itself, creating the life that sustains us. Herein lies the lesson of abundance given. When we take a look at the larger interdependent web that exists around those gifts, we are being invited into relationship, a relationship that has expectations going both ways, a relationship built around covenant. When people ask Robin Wall Kimmerer how to restore relationship between land and people, her answer is almost always plant a garden. That is the lesson the earth can teach us through giving us so much. Not to take more, but to find ways to replace what we are given, to use all that we receive, and to learn how much time goes into an apple. Before we pick the fruit, a seed must be planted, a sapling must sprout, and a tree must grow. Long before Eve picked the apple, Sky Woman planted the tree. The more time we spend tending gardens, the more we can appreciate the abundance of the harvest.
Hi, it's Rose. The earth element. Earth is physical. It's about self-awareness, habit behavior, appreciating abundance. Jung's definition is he related it to sensation. Earth is about soil. Soil that sustains all forms of life. When you think about it, the power and beauty of mountains are a symbol of stability and solidity of earth. Every day we experience the physical world. We walk on this earth. We enjoy the beauty and bounty all around us. And we feel comfort in knowing that we're on solid ground. So as you go through this meditation, I want you to just embrace earth. Let's call to mind the earth element within us. The earth element is everything solid and resistant, everything that gives us form. I want you to notice all those aspects of the body that you can directly experience, the physical presence and weight of the body. Feeling your sit bones pressing into the cushion or chair. Feel your hands resting either on your lap or by your side. And feel your knees either in front of you or on the floor. And just notice the experience of solidness. Now, as you're noticing these sensations, I want you to explore the rest of your body. Even though you can't experience them directly, I want you to just visualize things in your body that you can't directly see. Things like your bones, your kidneys, your heart, your liver, and every other conceivable solid matter in your body, right down to your toes. These aren't things we normally think about. So I want you to just call them to mind, knowing that they're there and experiencing them in your third eye. Now, having reflected on the earth element within us, I want you to now call to mind the earth element externally. Everything that is solid and resistant outside of yourself, starting with the floor beneath you. Then expand outward to buildings and vehicles, roads and mountains, rocks and pebbles, soil, the trees, wild plants, and crops growing in a field. Recalling these external elements is not to stimulate your mind, but simply to evoke memories in the form of sensory impressions, letting images, sounds, and sensations come to your mind. Now I want you to know that everything solid within the body and everything solid externally is the same as this element of earth. You see, there's really no me. It's all the same. We normally think of our form, our body, as being us, as being ourselves. But here, we recollect how everything of the earth that is within us comes from outside and returns to outside. I want you to visualize the flow of the earth element from fields and soils into your body. And I want you to ask what it feels like. What does it look like? There's not a single molecule of solid matter within your body that is self-originated. It's all borrowed, and we have to give it back. In fact, we're constantly giving it back every moment of our lives. The earth element within us is constantly returning to the outside world, just as we shed hair, skin cells. It's all solid matter combusting within the body and being exhaled. Even our bones, which we may think of as most solid and enduring part of the body, are involved in never-ending process of being dissolved and rebuilt. There are cells in your body that have no other function than to dissolve the surrounding bone, while other cells are involved in building it back up again. Even your bones are processes rather than things. So, as the earth element within is borrowed, and it's always returning to the outside world, flowing through us like a river, recall the earth element flowing in this way and reflect. This is not me. This is not mine. I am not this. There's not really even any question of letting go, because the earth element never was us. It never was ours. We never were holding on to it, because how can we cling to something that's flowing? The earth element provides the paradigm for the remaining physical elements, which are all treated in the same way. So remember to recall the element within us, recall the element outside of us, reflect on everything that is us is really just borrowed from the outside world, and it's constantly returning to it. And note that the element flowing through us is not you, it's not yours, and you're not that, because we are one.
from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Home.
And now we come to that time in our service when we extinguish the flames that we've lit for this special time set apart. But never do we extinguish the flame that burns eternal. The flame of love, the flame of our commitment to a just and caring world. If you carry that flame, please touch your heart and say to yourself, I carry the flame, and allow that flame to burn bright.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.